guys, how you going? I hope you're doing well. At the moment, I just wanted to let you know before I start, at the moment I am way behind with Facebook, Twitter, emails, and everything else. So if you can bear with me, I will slowly get through them all. But if I can ask, if you're going to send a video for me to watch, that it's a short one, or you point out where in the video you think I should watch. Point out the time on the video. So, okay, let's get into this. Watch this spot, and this is from Dano, Snarkish Dano on Twitter. Watch this spot. I will use this tweet to start a thread about mapping overlays like the DUMB trafficking one. I've got my hands on a few other maps that lead to some very interesting linkages and discoveries. COVID tracking, voting, national parks and sanctuary cities. Okay, let me preface this real fast by what I found in the last 2 days to get everyone up to speed so we can see what we're working with. This is going to be a fairly long thread, so please stay with me, work with me, and it'll get done. We will also be discussing some possible conclusions that we can make based on the data shown. This is the part that is making my head spin right now because what I'm seeing is quite overwhelming. You'll understand in a bit. First, I started by mapping out of POTUS tweets calling for Department of Transportation improvements. I had a feeling he was calling attention to something. He was. And there's a map. Then I got the bright idea by my digging buddy and on 4Q to look at human trafficking versus some of the points. Well, I could do one better as I had a great trafficking map around for a while, the two combined. Very interesting. And I think missing 411 has a lot to do with this. It's strange disappearances in national parks, and if you go and look it up, it's called Missing 411, and David Pilates is the main. He just gives you the facts. He doesn't give you any theories or what he thinks it is. He just gives you straight facts. If you want theories involved, listen to Steph Young. She delves into more theory. Okay, based on conversations in that thread, Terry CA 53306 307 dropped this gem on me. I had seen it before, but had always dismissed it. But I decided what the heck and overlaid it. It's a map of deep underground military bases and the connecting tunnels, still trying to verify the source. Mash it together with a trafficking heat map and voila, proof of a huge correlation here. I've never seen two disparate data sources match so exactly before. Like scary match time. I was shaking when I saw it. I don't know if they meant separate data sources match so exactly. Just the trafficking and dumb map without Google Earth for clarity. Ooh. I'll put this link down below, guys, so you can see this as well. It's really hard on the phone, but when I go on to look for something on Twitter, and this is from June the 21st, I can never find anything on Twitter. So that gets you up to date. So now we go forward with new and greater information and a possible Q confirmation that we're going in the right direction that was dropped just a bit ago. I'll clarify on that at the end. Onward. One of the requests I got was from Anon4Q again. She has a theory for a long time that national parks are a natural place for abduction and trafficking. There you go. So I found a national park pin map and let the overlay do the talking, and that would be a missing 411 map, I'm sure. And can you see what I can see? It sure looks like the coastal regions could be in trouble, and some of the central parks appear to be as well, Yellowstone being one. Some of the other parks probably don't have enough visitor per square foot to make grabbing kids possible, so that's why they don't fit the pattern. But there is definitely is a pattern to be seen. So if you ever visit one of the busy and crowded national parks with your kids, keep them on a short leash, literally. Keep a hold of them, don't let them go. On to the next one. Let's go with 2016 presidential election results by county versus trafficking. This one was harder to represent clearly because of the correlation of the maps involved. So I saved it as a PSP file which works with Photoshop and PaintShop. You should be able to slide the opacity for the layers around and see the correlation. It's there, big time. Anything that isn't solid red is effectively a trafficking hotspot. Blue is a dead giveaway, although there is plenty of pink area that is in trouble too. And Twitter doesn't recognise that as a picture file. Great. So I'll save it as a flat file and hope you can see it. It's pretty hard to suss out visually. Wow. What did you say the red were hot spots? Anything that isn't solid red is effectively a trafficking hotspot. Oh dear. So anything that's not solid red. Here's the fun one, COVID versus 2016 election results. I expected this one, to be honest. Democrat, mostly Democrat. There is a Republican one, I think. One Republican against Trump that didn't listen. Okay, how about sanctuary cities? Are we really going to be shocked to find correlations between sanctuary cities, COVID, voting and trafficking? I'll lay them out individually for you to make that determination on your own. Voting versus sanctuary. No surprises there. Yeah, because the sanctuary cities and the immigrants that came in weren't vetted, so they weren't checked out. And what has happened is, I think some of these people were traffickers. And they trafficked the women and children with them, were probably trafficked into the country to then be sold. So that's the voting versus sanctuary. How about trafficking and sanctuary? Huge correlation. That's what I was saying. And about Victoria and those two units, a lot of immigrants live in public housing. Okay, corona and sanctuary. There can't be a link, can there? Heck, silly kids. Of course there is. Oh, the map helps make the point, hey? Lol. Wow. I'm telling you that this missing 411 has everything to do with what they're hiding and what we are about to find out. And don't think this is all going to be purely physical thing, that we're going to find out a lot of spiritual stuff as well. It is a spiritual war. And then the one that sat me back in my chair, shaking my head and wondering if I understand the world at all. I mean, there can't possibly be a link between DUMBS and COVID, can there? Well, as a matter of fact, oh dear. What have I been saying about what COVID is? It's arrests. If you look at the numbers and you just turn that into arrests, it will make you feel a lot better. And I honestly think that's what it is. It's arrests. So let's keep going. I'd lay these all onto Google Earth too. So once again, I'll update and upload the KML file so that contains all of these as overlays on the US, and you can play with combining an opacity to your heart's content at the end. So now we move on to the discussion phase of our thread. First off, and perhaps most controversial, are they using COVID death and infection rates to cover up for the bodies being brought up from the rescue and DUMB cleanup? We have all seen and recognised that the COVID numbers are inflated beyond belief, so much so that I just dropped my phone, that they co-opted all of the pneumonia and flu deaths for this year and stuffed them all into the COVID column. Why? They had to know what we were going to see through it eventually. Yes, it's about the election, but I think it's even deeper. It's about obfuscating their behaviour for the past 60 years. They know they are sunk once the public catches wind of this crap. Kids being trafficked for sex, ritual murder, body parts, labour and everything else is pretty much the line in the sand that all Americans can agree on. We as a society have consistently placed a much higher value on our children than other societies and cultures. Look at the Middle East and China for examples of the opposite. Both have horrendous records for treatment of children. So once we see that, our trusted leaders from all walks, religions, political, security, police, etc., sports, music, media, have all been complicit and active in this crap. It will cause a shift and a revulsion unlike anything that has happened anywhere before. They won't be safe to walk down the street again. Moving on from that, one of the other key things we can draw from this is the complicity of the Democrats in all of this. Trafficking, COVID, sanctuary cities. What I showed wasn't that illegals were trafficking, but that illegals were being trafficked. Illegals aren't the problem. There you go. I thought that some of them would be traffickers coming in, but if they're all being trafficked, oh my goodness. Are they all being rescued? They are a symptom of the disease which is ruled by the Democrat Party. Where the Democrats lead, corruption, filth, disease and waste follow. Is anyone going to argue the filth and corruption of Hollywood? And look where it falls in all of this. How about my beloved Seattle? My Washington dig from last week or so shone the bright light of exposure on the deep state here. Look at every map here. Seattle, smack dab in the middle of it. Vegas, same thing. Atlanta, same, etc., etc., etc. And did he have more? Yep. The last thing I'd like to toss out here is the roles that DUMBS play in all of this. First, while military is in their name, doesn't mean US military. While places like Cayenne Mountain are undoubtedly fully white hat controlled, most of these other DUMBS are black hat. Black hat, let's define that in military sense a bit. I'm certainly not pointing a finger at brave young men and women in our armed forces. Most of them probably have no clue these places even exist. They may wonder at the entrance to somewhere they stand guard over, but beyond that, they're not involved. These are CIA and private contractors. Most black projects have gone way of contractors. They aren't overseen by the US military, except at the very highest level, and even then, those are usually CIA operatives playing a double role. These contractors include foreign nationals as either researchers or security. Count on it. So many of these people aren't even from the States. Some are, yes, but not all, and maybe not even most. Bottom line, DUMBS can be easily used to move people, guns, drugs, disease, whatever you want all across the country. Underground is safe from prying eyes. Oddly enough, it appears that most of these DUMBS now open up into Democrat-controlled areas, even more shielding for whatever nefarious things they have going on. Much of this has been known and posted about by others, but I wanted to put most of this together in a single place. Now to the fun part. I give back to you guys. Here's the link to the KML file that includes all the POTUS dot points, but also the overlays of each map that you've seen today as separate layers so you can toggle and play with the zoom in on Google Earth. There you go. Have fun with it. More importantly, if you have an idea to add, let me know and I'll get working on it. Discussing CIA and its actions, and then this phrase, it's what you don't see. And we have been discussing DUMBS, which are CIA-controlled things that you don't see. I'll take it. Getting a direct cue is usually a cluster. I prefer the indirect nods. Adding one more to this, Real Jamie Mack suggested a dumb versus National Cemetery overlay. They were good enough to go get the cemetery info and import it into a KML file for me. So it was a snap to get this result. Wow. What do cemeteries have to do with it? Dead people? It appears that a YouTube channel picked up on this thread and did a bit on it. Thanks, guys. And there's a link to map overlays with Gene, Blessed to Teach, or I don't know, I don't really watch them. And True Reporting did a nice piece on this thread too. Thank you very much, guys. Make sure you give them a like and a follow. So there's another one, True Reporting. I listen to him. Why didn't I hear this? I'm going to have to click on that. Anyway, I'll include this link down below for you. This was from the 21st of June, so this is an older one. But I found it really interesting, and I am getting on to the Picton Pig Farm. The only thing is I've got my grandkids for a couple of days, and I prefer to put a lot of effort into those ones. So I'll need to be able to concentrate, and when my grandkids are here, I can't concentrate as much, as easily, and it ends up being late. So I'll include this link down below, guys. What do you think? I also heard today that Australia was... I listened to Gene today on, what was it called? Q Connect or something? Connect Q? I don't know, but it was on something, and that other lady, Kirsten W, was in there as well. But there was another lady, a blonde lady as well. And there was Jean. And they were talking about Australia, and that they're saying that's why the lockdown's happening again, because they're rescuing these people. But I don't know. I was mistaken about Scott Morrison by the look of it. I was wrong about him. He's not a good sleeper in that way. He could be a black hat sleeper, which is the bad side, you know. So I could have been wrong about Scott Morrison, and so I apologise for that one. I have to say that. So yeah, I could be wrong on things too sometimes, guys. I'm just a normal person. I'm looking for the truth. I'm trying to sort through it. And I do also listen to people who don't necessarily believe in Trump or Q. So I do get information from all around, and I've realised that the SGT report has just sort of realised that Q could be something more than what he thought it was. Then you've got other people like the Corbett report, Max Egan. He's, I'm starting to just, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's looked into Q enough to say that that's fake, because there's a lot of things coming up right now, guys, that are showing it to be, look, even if it's a psyop, they're telling us a lot more than what we knew before. They really are. I mean, I suspected with this missing 411 quite a few years ago, as soon as I started listening to it, and I didn't know about the military bases being used to keep people or traffic people. I just thought they were preparing for World War III or something, or their bug out areas, you know, where all the famous people and people of importance were going to go and leave us all up here to deal with hell. But I never knew that until, when was it? Until Q told me that there were actually people being trafficked through there. But when I heard about the missing 411, and as soon as Q started popping up and talking, and I was listening to different things, I realised, and even before that, I said on a couple of missing 411 in the comments, I said the government knows about this. The government has something to do with this. I can nearly guarantee it. I don't know how, but they know about it. And they're involved in it. And that I knew that years ago. So then Q came along and I really put the 2 and 2 together, and just every time I listen to Missing 411 now, I believe that that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what we're looking at. Things like trapdoors, I don't know. I don't know how they do it. But I also believe there's more to it than just the deep underground military bases. There's something spiritual to it as well. Because some people are disappearing right in front of people, which is more like a dimensional thing. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Stranger Things, but if you've seen that, when the people go into the alternate dimension, like the girl sitting in the pool that day and she got dragged into a different dimensions, things like that are happening, because some of these people can hear the people calling them and they are yelling back, but no one hears them. The lost person is yelling back to the people calling them, which is a search party, but the search parties are not hearing them. Dogs come to a complete stop at a point where they sniffer dogs and they can't search anymore because the scent has just disappeared into thin air. So there's a lot to it, and I really would advise everyone to at least go and watch One Missing 411 with David Paulides, because you'll pretty soon put 2 and 2 together. It really does have something to do with it. The government knows what it is, if not involved in it, and I believe they're highly involved in it. So, yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about this, and I will, probably by the weekend, I'll have the Picton Pig Farm one up, because, as I said, I've got my grandkids for the next couple of days. I will try and jump on when I can. And other than that, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate everybody. You take care, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, guys. Bye.